friend and I owned a pest control business called Lake Norman Pest Control. And Dale Earnhardt, when he lived on the lake, before he built the complex out on 3, was one of our customers. And we got to know him through our work. And then he got to know me through the newspapers, because he told me one time I was getting more publicity than he was. Because Tom Higgins, writing his column, made my name a famous guy on Lake Norman as catching the big striped bass. So one day Earnhardt says, and I knew he had a bass boat, real fast bass boat, Triumph, I think. And he kept it in his boathouse on a lift inside the boat. But he wanted to learn how to catch that fish. And I says, okay. I says, the best time to catch that fish is 5:30 in the morning. And he says, that's my favorite time. So we made an appointment for him to come to our house in the state park every time he fished with me. And that's where we left from and come back. And that's where those fishes was taken that day. And that day, I had probably 15 crappie in my bait tank. And Dale Earnhardt, after it got daylight, and he liked to throw. He'd throw a striper swapper to the bank and, pull them back. And he caught 2 or 3 stripers doing that. And then at 8 o'clock, or 7:30, 8 o'clock, no, 7:30, we started making a move from the state park up to Market 20, where Ed Welch lived on that bank. And he happened to look in there and he said, what we're going to do, have a fish fry? Talk about I said, no, we ain't got time to have a fish fry right now. I said, we're running out of time, so we go to that place. We fished the bank in the park and the bank at Market 20, up and down. And when we got through, I didn't use any of the crappies in the park. I used 9 of them up on 20 bank. When we got through that morning, we quit at 8:30, back to my dock, and we'd caught 9. We turned 1 back, krill limits 4 apiece, and he kept the 8, carried them back to his personal shelf in his personal office outside the shop, and he fed his personal employees. They didn't work for DEI, they worked for Dale Senior, and they cleaned them and ate them that day.
Didn't you come down to the dock one time and find him in your boat real early in the morning? He'd been there waiting on you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that story like?
Well, he had called on the way back from Nashville about 2 o'clock in the morning in his airplane, and woke me up, and he said, can we go fishing in the morning? I said, yeah. And that was all that was said. Well, he didn't go home that night. He got to the Statesville Airport, messed around, come to our house, went down our boat and went to sleep. And when I went down there he was ready to go fishing, but I woke him up at 5:30.
Yeah.